Hello everyone, I'm Sam and I've been a content creator for GW2 since 2013 and a partner since 2017. Over these years, I've mostly dabbed into the economic aspects of the game. With over 17 million accounts created and around 300,000 of these coming from Steam, our daily player count is roughly equivalent to this last figure. And these players share a single economy. Unlike other MMOs, GW2 has a centralized trading post, which other games might refer to as an auction house. This means that trades and exchanges happen around the clock, with some spikes at the respective EU and NA prime times. But while learning about the trading post is a staple if you want to earn a lot of in-game gold, it's not necessary for you to make gold at all. However, before we get to it, I want to add a layer of advice to new players only. Take your time to explore the game, learn about the various modes you can play as well as builds and the meta before you try to go and make gold. So make sure to level up the normal way by experiencing the game and not to use the instant level boosting. GW2 is an MMO with many quality of life elements, especially in the UI and town utilities. This means that crafting isn't a core in this game. Every major town and outpost has a dedicated crafting area that will house all 8 core crafting stations, with the 9th one, the scribe profession, only being available in guild halls. The crafting professions are a great way to make gold in the game due to consumables greatly enhancing builds, as well as armor and weapon upgrades being necessary to all the game modes, bar maybe open world PvE. If you want to level up the crafting professions, the best way to proceed is to follow the always current crafting guides, one of the best resources in the field. The link for that is in the description. Everything is explained on the website, but it's mostly about following the shopping list and crafting order. However, if you are to use a crafting buff on your character, be aware that this will cause some trouble due to website accounting for regular crafting experience and not bonus one. You would be wasting some of the items. After this is done, you might wonder how to make gold with said crafting professions. As pointed out earlier, it is a matter of picking consumables and upgrades. Consumables you will make the most profit from are made by the chef and the artificer professions, while the better upgrades are between tailor and huntsman. Still, I would recommend raising all professions to level 400 for starters, and then you can see which ones you care to max out. A good way to make this decision is to pick whichever profession can make gear for your main character. As a character can only have 2 active professions at a time, unless you purchase a license from the gem store, make sure to spread them across your characters, and that will also net you a few levels in the process. If you want crafting guides and resources specifically to make gold, you can head on over to a selection of videos I put in the description, or join my Patreon for spreadsheets if you're more inclined to dive into numbers, which you will have to at some point if you truly seek profits. Now that we've covered crafting, let's talk about currencies. While all MMOs share the sin of coming up with a new currency with each new piece of content, we were lucky on 2 ends with GW2. First, we received the wallet, which is a great way of storing and checking the currencies we have, and second, the rest of them ended up in the material storage, so that only the currencies used for guildhall decoration purchases remain in the account's bank. When it comes to said currency, I am against using the more annoying ones together, such as the daily rewards like laurels, or the more annoying one to farms like the one needed to craft the rare gear like spirit shards, legendary related currencies, that is, unless you're swimming in them. This means that you can go to town on raid, fractal, even dungeon currencies if you don't care about generation 1 legendaries. However, map rewards from expansion maps, which are needed for the new legendaries, aren't to be spared. If you want to make profit from your currencies, I have guides for that purpose, mostly targeted on spirit shards, but you can branch out into karma, and some websites have very detailed datasets on other currencies, especially those related to the Living Word seasons. Links for that are also in the description. Aeronet has had since release a ticket system, and whenever a new skin set comes out, they put the price of the previous one up by about 2 tickets, and so on, until they push them out of the ticket shop eventually. This means that, realistically, a skin you get while it's available for 1 ticket at the exchange would have a value of roughly 40 gold, and when it becomes available for 3 tickets, you can probably resell it for around 100 gold or so. The value would then keep going up until the skin set eventually got reintroduced in the one-ticket shop, giving you ample time to walk away with your profits. However, this would have been too good if it had stayed that way. Instead of allowing skins to go up in price forever, Ironet opted to add them into one of the two principal gambling systems of the game, the Black Lion chest. This chest functions as a classic loot box, which pulls items from a few loot tables, each being restricted in their own drop rates. Whenever you open a Black Lion chest, you always get a statuette, which is a token, allowing you to claim exclusive items from the chest. Think of it as a petty system of sorts, and on top of this guaranteed statuette, you can also get a guaranteed item related to the chest specifically. You then get 2 items of common rarity, selected at random in the common loot table. There are another 3 loot tables which can be pulled into the 4th slot of the Black Lion chest. The uncommon table, which houses previously released Black Lion skins as well as some exclusive items and dice. The rare loot table, which usually rewards you with a slightly more prestige Black Lion skin as well as home instance nodes. And finally, the super rare loot table, which contains the very expensive permanent contracts. This gambling system is quite balanced, as items come back on a rather fixed cycle, which I've documented in some spreadsheets. There is also the fact that each festival comes with its own iteration of the Black Lion chest, containing items closely related to what the festival drops. Speaking about festivals, it's time to introduce them. Guild Wars 2 has had a growing number of festivals over the years, with some of them being held yearly, while others were less regular. However, for the past few years, we've had the same cycle repeating itself, so we can go over these now. The first festival of the year is the Lunar New Year, which coincides with the eponymous Chinese celebrations. This festival is an opportunity for great profit, as it has a bargain vendor selling you some lucky bags for cheap. This bag's content is worth roughly 50% more than the price of the bags, making it a great way to generate extra cash. The festival comes with its plethora of minigames and exclusive skins and rewards, making it a good occasion to grow your account's worth. Next up is the Super Adventure. This one is gameplay heavy, as we're taken into an 8-bit inspired world full of jumping puzzles and gimmicky encounters. This festival is a fan favorite for the fun it brings, but it's not the one that will make you richer, except if you get lucky with a skin drop. It's however important to note that the vendors have good rates of exchanges on items that you would otherwise take a while to farm, hence making it a good occasion to have fun while being productive in game. Around the middle of the year, we get to Dragon Bash, which is akin to Lunar New Year in its choice of minigames to reward balance. While the rewards aren't stellar, you get good value on the drops while the event lasts, and the chests that come with it have decent items on their loot tables. The Festival of the Four Winds is coming up next, this one being awaited a lot by the player base for 2 reasons. Beyond the minigames and achievements it bears, this event serves as a massive sink for common materials in the game, as you can directly exchange them at a fixed rate with the vendors in the event area for some loot boxes, which can drop some of the rarest items in the game, the infusions. I'll discuss these later in the video, but bear in mind that they are very important for the player base and can instantly make you rich. The last 2 festivals of the year are rather close in their delivery, but differ in their mood. Halloween has great skin rewards as well as a couple good looking and cheap infusions, but on top of that, it also comes around with its own mini dungeons, which can be farmed, as well as a big map farm called the Labyrinth. Depending on when this video releases, it might be just around the corner for you, and if so, you must definitely take part in it. Finally, comes Winter's Day, which is Ironet's take on the Christmas celebration. From the snow-based skins and infusions to the various Christmas-themed treats, this event has good rewards, but the best part has to be the karma farming. Karma is one of the currencies that has remained central in Guild Wars 2, with it being used in almost every expansion and Living Story release. Make sure to take part in the mini-games to claim your event-exclusive rewards as well. We have talked at length about exclusive rewards, such as infusions. These count among the most expensive items in the game, but so are Legendaries, and this is what we'll talk about now. If you've watched some Guild Wars 2 content on YouTube or Twitch, you are probably aware of how our Legendary system works, but if not, here's a rundown on the latest updates. We've recently received the Legendary Armory, which is basically a system allowing for seamless equipping on your entire account of any legendary you own. So any of your characters that is level 80 has access to them. So you can guess this makes them very sought after, and they have thus been a central part of the in-game economy for years. The price is a driving factor for a lot of other items, and crafting them is a good way to make profit for a new player. You only need to explore the map of a given expansion and farm some map currencies to get started, with the part that will set you back the most being the precursor item and the crafting materials. The precursor item is to be understood as a blueprint of some sort to make the legendary piece of gear you're after. Across the game communities, you might have stumbled upon the Overflow trading community, spearheaded by my esteemed colleague GW2. This is a great place to go if you wish to learn more about, say, legendary crafting, as well as get into player-to-player trading overall. However, keep in mind that while Aeronet tolerates it, it is not officially supported, and it is to be done at your own discretion and sometimes risk. Yet, this community is a great learning place, so be sure to check them out. A few moments ago, I mentioned precursor weapons, the blueprints to our legendaries. These can be dropped, but can also be received at the Mystic Forge, which will now be our topic of interest. The Mystic Forge can be accessed in all major cities of the game, as well as the player hubs and outposts. It works as a promotion system for materials and items, as well as a crafting method for some specific recipes, which are well documented on our wiki. The gist of the promotion system is also explained, but the main takeaway is that you have 1 chance in 5 of a promotion if putting 4 items of identical properties into the Mystic Forge. As a conclusion to this video, I'd like to sum up what you need to get started nicely in Guild Wars 2. While I did go in depth about many of the game's endgame aspects, none of that matters in order to enjoy the game as is. You're already well equipped on the account you have, provided you grabbed any of the extensions. You should have on your character a level 80 boost item that will also contain some gear. Even though I do recommend exploring the game out starting level 1, progressing through the story and such, if all you seek is to adventure in the high level areas you might have seen on videos or on Twitch, then you're set with said boost. Want to get into the endgame content as soon as possible? Seek out the recommended builds from the communities that are familiar with these areas, be it the War vs World Discord servers, Meta Battle for PvP, or Snowcrows for instance PvE. Links are in the description, but the most important part is that you have fun on your adventure. And that is exactly what I wish you. If you have appreciated this video or learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe. Doing so helps me tremendously. If you are as hooked as I am on the economic aspects of the game, you can head on over to my Patreon for some extra content. And finally, if you want to enjoy more and more of Tyria, make sure to check out my fellow content creators that I will list in a pinned comment. And now, I wish every single one of you some happy gaming and to have fun.